Hello, hello, hello. Oh, where'd I go? Where am I? Let's see here. Add to stage. Why am I little? Shift. That's so weird. I have no idea why. There I am. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, why am I so little? They just gave us all these new options inside of StreamYard, and I don't know. Everything seemed fine in my tests. But thank you guys. Welcome. Last class of 2025. Super excited about that. No idea, no plans for 2026. I know we're looking to change things up. Usually every couple years we do. But let me know where you're tuning in from. I can't believe it's snowing up there. I want to see pictures. No snow here, maybe some flurries in the mountains, but definitely nothing but rain. How about you? How's that weather over there in Southwest Florida? Because I know it's a lot warmer there than here. Hey, Sharon, thanks for joining. Hey, Melissa. I think she's probably getting all the rain like we are. Ugh, it's like 40 degrees and supposed to get freezing again here. Love it. Hey, Gregory, thanks for joining. I know, nice weather. Had to do it. I was like, well, yeah, I didn't get a chance to get the new one, and I knew it would never get here before. So I was like, well, maybe it'll be cheaper after the holidays, knowing I wasn't going to get it. So, hey, Janine, glad you made it. And Janine has been, I think, ever since we went online and opened this class up, she has been at every single one. Hey, Vita. Oh, I bet it's beautiful over there in Florida. I am kind of looking forward to going to Florida at the end of the year. Yeah, end of December. So looking forward to that. Hey, Tracy. Love that. It might be, I had to switch out my cup because I realized I might be a little crazy with all the balloons. Usually I have my regular blue cup that has all the stickers on it. And then I realized might be like a little freak here with all the balloons everywhere, but I think anybody knows me well enough knows that. So thank you for joining Ignite 2026. Every year we kind of change up that theme. As most of you who have watched this before know, that this used to be a full day class that we did for years at our office with the magazines and big poster boards and such a mess in the office. The first kind of morning was part of the vision board process. And then, hey, Mandy. And then, the half a day, had their sponsors and stuff. Then when kind of COVID came, I moved to Tennessee. We started doing things remotely. That was back when we were doing that podcast every Monday morning with my work wife, Carrie. And then we broke it down into 4-hour-long sessions. So we took a full day, broke it into 4 sessions. So that was still 4 hours. And then a couple years ago, we kind of transformed that into an hour. So I want to make sure, hopefully you've got the emails when you registered. If not, I'll show you at the end. Make sure, go to my website, download the full workbook, because what we're showing today is just like the tip of the iceberg. It's just the bare basics, but we have the full workbook, full presentation, like the downloadable book that's really going to go in depth over each section that we're going to kind of briefly review today. And then we also have like the Excel spreadsheets, which are the not so fun homework where it's the know your numbers, your expenses, all of that fun stuff. But I feel it is super important. You guys are running your business and we need to treat it like that sometimes. And sometimes we forget. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And of course I switch it up because I feel I start giggling as, everything's about AI right now. And it's crazy. I love it. I've embraced it. The videos, my husband, he doesn't quite understand. He keeps showing me all these crazy videos. And I'm like, you do know that's AI. That's not real. And he's like, what? And I was like, well, the first thing is the Sora logo that's bouncing around. The second one is if you see it faded, somebody trying to blur out Sora. But it's so funny. I was like, yeah, that monkey did not do that to that, or that cat didn't do that to that bear. It's kind of funny, but it's scary because it's everywhere out there and it is moving faster than we can keep up. But as far as my work and everything else, it has been the best assistant ever. So I feel this is kind of where we were maybe 10, gosh, maybe even 15 years ago when we were all talking about video and you need to get on it and learn it and start doing it, get ahead of the curve. That's where AI is right now. I know I've been doing Jared James. He has the whole AI 6 classes, I believe. They're about an hour and a half, 2 hours each. Lots of great stuff. I just got an email. Buffini is going to be doing like one each month. I believe Michael Thorne is going to be helping with that because he's in the promo video, which Michael's amazing when it comes to AI and all that fun stuff. So definitely, I mean, when it comes to AI, I think you just go on there and start playing and asking questions and ask what it can do to help you. And you would be amazed, and you learn as you go. You learn different prompts or anything like that. That's a good question. So as the last couple years, I've been doing, the last few classes, a few years, I've been heavily focused on Max Tech, whether, between the boot camps, all the other classes. Gosh, this year I was so blessed to be able to travel across the country and visit so many of you in person for the regional events. That was amazing to be able to see everybody. But I want to switch it up. We did put out surveys. I believe they should be pinned to featured. If not, after this, I'll make sure. And creative tech and tools. I think just in talking with admins, we want to get more into marketing, Canva, AI, all of that good stuff. And of course, incorporating Max Tech, because that's kind of something I'm super passionate about. But how we can kind of embrace all of these things, put them into one and all of that. But we are looking, because I think most of you know I hate it being the Heather show. This is, I think, the only class I do all year where it's a presentation kind of webinar style. Everything I do is hands-on, practical, but I have so many Max Tech videos out there, from just the quick videos I do to help. And then I have the long, hour-long classes that I've been doing. I really want to kind of switch my gears a little bit. Admins agree with that. And we're looking to kind of go back. If you remember, we used to do weekly sessions, and we had on guest speakers from the network each week. I don't know that I can go to weekly. That's a little too much, but we are looking for ideas. What do you guys want to learn about, as well as speakers? Anybody who's good at what they do, or, is willing to offer an hour of your time and join us and show us what you can do and help others. We're all in for it. So make sure, check out those survey links, because we're going to be getting together and putting out a upcoming schedule, and it's going to be switched up just a little bit. So I'm excited about that. But let's go ahead. Let me share. Let's get started in this. Move this without me. Okay, there I am. I may have to move myself out a little bit, but I want it to be as large screen as you can. And we're just going to get started on this. There we go. First thing, it's like, breathe, Heather, breathe. One of the first things we need to do is, when you're doing the vision board, planning everything out, your numbers, that's so important. We need to ask ourselves, like, our vision, where do we see ourselves? What do we want? And I'm always one, not just for next year, but think 5, 10 plus years down the road. And always with the vision board, I'm going to tell you to always put that in there, because I think that's so important. When you have that somewhere, you can see it every single day. We need to know your why, because your why is what brings you down to the core of why you love doing what you do, and it'll inspire you as you're working through this. So your value, what makes you a little different than everybody else that's out there, because we all know, many people have their real estate license to be able to help. Where do you want your business to be? And what are your financial goals? And of course, when you're doing your numbers, you have to kind of work backwards, just because your gross is one thing, but we have a lot of bills. We need to know that net, and how do we increase everything? So what are your primary goals? Marketing, what marketing strategies are you using? What do you want to start learning? What do you want to start implementing? All of that. Activities. I think it might have been Jared James, where somebody said, literally for 2 weeks, track down every single thing you do in your life. Just 2 weeks. I remember back in college, that was kind of our assessment as far as what we eat. That was very eye-opening because I did, I was an assistant manager at Domino's. So I was a poor college student. So that was pretty much all I ate. I mean, we did make healthy lobster, chicken. You know, I always made my omelet for my Sunday morning shift, but literally your activities track all 2 weeks. Write down every single thing that you're doing, knowing your time management. That is big. And I encourage you to try that because it may be very eye-opening. Track, are you on track? Where do you want to be? And that's just all things that you're going to be wanting to do as we work through our entire business planning. Personal vision. I think it's important. And I know a lot of you have watched these in the past. I have always struggled with the work-life balance. So I think even in my profiles, it's like work hard, play hard, because that's always been such a struggle for me. And when you love what you do every day, it doesn't feel like work. It's just, I get up at 3 a.m. because my brain turns on. I get all these ideas, and my most creativity aspect of my life is in the middle of the night, apparently. But I get so much work done because everybody's asleep. But it's super important to have your personal as well as your professional. So these are just some different ideas. And I'm pretty sure I have had my kitchen and bathrooms on my vision board since I moved to Tennessee 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago, I think. But I got into other, I'm a simple girl with high maintenance hobbies. So, you know, every time I think of redoing the kitchen, I'm like, but new tires would be good. Or how about that lift? Or how about this? So I got to get my priorities. I think I'm good where I'm at right now. So that is my goal that I say every year. But it's super important. Make sure you have your personal, your professional, and make sure when you are doing these, all of these different activities on your business planning, to have your significant other, to have an accountability partner, sibling, work partner, whoever it may be, include somebody so they know what your goals are and kind of help you be accountable for all of this. And that's, you know, so that way my husband knows if I work an extra, I'm like, but I'm trying to accomplish this. Remember this? We have this on the vision board. We really want to get this. So yes, I may have to work or not be able to go play this weekend because I need to get this done. So I think having somebody there to help you with different goals and helping you achieve those is always super crucial. Vision board. What I like to do is have kind of like a mix of next year, you know, kind of more immediate, 5 years, 10 plus years. And I know for me, for over 10 years on my vision board was being in the mountains. I knew that from the late 90s, my first motorcycle trip up here, that's where I wanted to be. That was home to me, not the beach. Then I met my husband and it took 20 years to get here, but we're here now and absolutely love it. No regrets. Love the mountains and waterfalls versus the hot beach. Although I do love Florida, November through March, April. It's an amazing place to be. But definitely, you know, put in not just immediate, but put in everything. And I'll just kind of show some examples. I do have, when you go in, I know on the website or where it says you can get the actual workbooks, I do have a presentation for all about vision boards where you can get them. There's apps. I use Canva. You can just do a search for vision boards and they have a ton of templates. It is free. You do not need a paid version of that. You could go into PowerPoint. You could go into Google, not Sheets, but whatever, the Google Slides. And when it comes to that, I like Canva because they have their elements and I can just drag and drop words or this and that. But honestly, if you have super intentional vision board, like I remember UT and college and stuff, you can go to Google. It's not something you're really posting where you have to worry about the copyright so much. So you can just go to the internet and find a graphic that matches. This is just for you. And this is, I print out, I make mine colorful. That's can be on my, you know, backdrop or, you know, screensaver. But then when I print, I kind of make mine with a white background. So these are just a few that I've had throughout the years. And I can say, you know, some things will probably be on there for years, just like a house in the mountains was on there for over 10 years. And it finally came to fruition. Same thing when it came to a Jeep. When I had to sell my Jeep and get a mommy mobile, this was before they had the 4 doors, and, you know, having 3 kids and, you know, 2 seats in the back was not practical. Plus, you know, as they got older, friends and sports and everything else. So I always had kind of, you know, a Jeep on there, like, just got to wait for the kids to get their own vehicles. And then I'll get I call it my spirit animal vehicle, whatnot, but it's all up to you. So these are just mine. I actually have in Canva, and I just duplicate each year, switch out a couple things. Note cards, I've been absolutely horrible. I've bought so many different ones and I'm still not doing it. So it's not going away because it's still something I absolutely have to do. But the vision board, it may seem silly, but it's not. As soon as I walk into my office, it is always displayed. You know, there's something about visualizing and seeing that every day. We got to know our why. Why are we doing what we do? Maybe we had a bad day. This is our why. And I think that's super, super important. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I bought so many, and I even bought all these holiday, you know, Christmas cards. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. And then I'm like, shoot, I saved all of my family cards last year so I would have the return addresses. Where did I put those? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. One excuse after another, and that's on me. But again, it's going to stay there. So I keep reminding myself. So lots of different things, and it's completely up to you. It's only for you, personal and business. And even, I mean, I even make my kids do this. So we're the same person. Yes, sometimes feels that way. My techie sister, but it's all for you. And even if you have kids, my kids used to think this is funny back in the magazine, Scissors. It was, you know, I wanted them to be able to do this. I think it's important for them to not just think about today and getting this immediately. What about, you know, future? You know, college, you know, work, all of that. Although in my son's vision board, the Army was never in there. So that just kind of came out of left field and was like, well, okay. Okay. But our plan. So who do we have to be? What do we have to do so that we can have what we want? That vision, the vision board, what changes do we need to make? What are we doing now that's working? What's not working? What do we need to adjust? I find if we dream big, find our kind of future focus, we have to stay accountable to be able to achieve those goals. And accountable is your accountability partner, but also time management. Time management is so crucial in this business and getting lists or systems in place. Because if you don't have the systems or anything like that in place, you're just kind of throwing stuff out there and pray something sticks. So accountability, systems and tools to help you stay accountable, I think is a big, big thing. Tracking and knowing your numbers. This is super crucial. It's your business. You need to know, where do these leads funnel in from? Word of mouth, your sphere, social. Are you getting those messages? Your organic website. Are you paying? Are you doing Google ads? Are you doing, you know, we have all the other different tools between the marketing as a service, all of those different, you know, Zillow. Are you doing that? Fizbo, expireds. What are you doing? And all these workbooks, you need to know, like, where is your business coming from? What do you need work on? What maybe you should really hone in on? It's going to help you as you create and build that roadmap to success. And I love, you know, Tom Ferry has some amazing quotes, and this is one I use. You know, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So definitely something to think about in knowing that. These are in the homework. I don't want to go too much over that, but it is kind of homework to do. We should, for the most part now, usually, because I'll do this like October, November-ish. But this is in those downloadables. It's going to be the full worksheet, and you can just go through those tabs to be able to put all this. I know towards the end of the year, this is when we all do that. We cringe, all of that fun stuff, but we need to know our numbers. What are you spending on marketing, personal expenses, business expenses, all of that fun stuff. We need to know all that. So you need to download those and get those. And I believe I have a link I will share with that towards the end. So yeah, there's marketing. I think that's where most of mine then in the business. You also need to be able to measure and track. So that's where you need to know what your gross, what were your business expenses, and profit. And a lot of, especially like teams, heavy hitters, their GCI is way up here, but they're paying admins and this and that, and they're, paying for leads, doing this, doing that. We need to know that bottom line minus the expenses so that you know what your net is after all those expenses. And that's what we have to really be able to focus on. And then how many closed transactions, how many listing, how many buyers, how many appointments did you go on? So what is that ratio? What is that close ratio? Maybe you need to improve getting that rapport. Maybe you could use the bold trails, that CMA, that present, and send that ahead of time. I love that idea because then they're already kind of looking at the comps, and that allows you to really focus on the rapport and growing that relationship, and then answering questions that they may have based on the information you sent. So a lot of those fluff pieces and stuff like that can be sent before your appointment. So lots of different things, knowing what your average commission is, how many hours a week are you working, and how many hours do you spend prospecting? And a lot of agents aren't spending much time prospecting. It's just, I don't know, I'm just meeting people or this and that. So definitely some things to put into light in that area. And again, this year in review, sales volume, gross commission, how many transactions, appointments, and what do you do on your business? So a lot of times when I'm meeting with agents and we go to see what this numbers are right here, and we see the amount of transactions, and maybe they do more listings than buyers. I was always I'm a marketing person. So the listings was where I thrived. I had zero desire, even though I love looking at houses, to put people in my car. That was back when I was doing real estate. Like maybe you want to get more listings because you're working a lot with buyers, but this is where you're going to be able to say like, okay, I'm, working with a lot more buyers, not as many sellers. What can I do to get more sellers? So whatever you want to do, this is going to be able to allow you to see like, okay, I need improvement on adding this type of social or this type of content to be able to attract these kind of people. So just some numbers and stuff like that for you to be able to look at as you build that roadmap. So this is basically when you're setting those goals, is what do you need to do? Where do you want to be at when it comes to all of these numbers? So where do you want that sales volume, your gross commission, transactions, how many listings and buyers, rentals, whatever the case may be? Where do you want to be? So you see where you were. I always say as a rule of thumb to increase this by 25% minimum. And I know this year has been, the last couple of years, very interesting in real estate, but that's also one reason I love real estate is it is constantly evolving. And this year definitely has been no exception to that rule. Lots of different things happening in the industry right now to keep it alive and fun to try to keep up with. It's been interesting. And then knowing what you want to do for your target, the annual expenses, what do you want to make? What is your required net revenue? And then it's unacceptable for this. And you have to be able to turn that should into a must. And I remember that was one of the quotes, I think it was Tony Robbins, back when I walked on fire and I laughed at everybody all day as we're watching that, the coals burning. I'm like, y'all are crazy. My mom's voice, like, what if everybody jumps off a bridge, you're going to? And I was like, yeah, I'm not walking on that stuff. You're crazy. And then I walked on fire and it was life-changing because I think my only fear in life is burning to death or something like that. So it was kind of crazy, but I don't know. You just get in this mindset. You need to put that should into a must. And then we need to build that roadmap. CRM, and I can probably move myself. It's almost like, yes, I need to do this, and this, but you need to have that CRM. And we have one, Bold Trail, whether you're using Follow Up Boss, Line Desk, like there's so many CRMs. Need to have something. For years, it was a glorified Excel spreadsheet, but we have all of these amazing tools. We can't say, oh, I want to do leads. Oh, I want to set up these campaigns. Oh, I want to do this, if you don't have a follow-up plan. So having that CRM, being able to organize it in a way that makes sense for your business is crucial, no matter what platform you're using. But get out of the Excel. I always have that as my master, but really having something that you can utilize on a day-to-day basis, a CRM, client relationship management. I know Bold Trail kind of has the CRM, but it also has that lead management system, the LMS. So it kind of has everything in one. If you've never used anything else, use the Bold Trail that you have, because there's so much you can do. Of course, if you're using Follow Up Boss or anything really sophisticated, they're really pretty easy to manage. I just like having everything in kind of one field, because it makes it where you don't have to, go to all these different platforms to see what's going on. But we need to be able to use the CRM. Growing that database, network outreach, lots of community events. If you're going to like R4, any of these conferences are a great way to do that. Referral programs. So all of your friends that you should have your sphere in there, remind them when you're in real estate, and I know I shared the tokens. I've got those holiday emails for the whole year, 2026. I also have kind of generic monthly newsletters that I encourage you to kind of at least brand for yourself, maybe add in some local stuff. And then social. I mean, whether you're trying to target using social and your website and all of that kind of stuff, but it's all about growing that database for you. So lots of different things that you can do. Those monthly newsletters, I highly encourage anyone, even if you're using mine, you set up your own template because you've watched my past classes. Market insights. I think that's huge. I mean, even if you have buttons going to the market report page on your website, allowing them to enter their neighborhood, their city, zip code, whatever the case may be, that is pure data. So that is no, house value that's computer generated. It is pure data. What's actually going on in the market with what the city or area they put in there. Have the market snapshot locally. Use the Remax National campaign for what's going on a national level. Those are all things that you can be putting on a blog, on your website, to be foundable and to be able to share to social, drive traffic back to your website, adding it to your newsletter. I know I sound like a broken record because I'm constantly saying that. Community events, adding in local content is going to set you apart. And eventually it'll be, well, I'm looking forward to Heather's monthly newsletter because it tells me all the cool stuff that are going on in our area. And then putting in tips for buyers and sellers where they're, and if you use Keeping Current Matters and they have the free site, use that. Amazing data. It's not clickbait stuff. It's pure data and graphs, good information for buyers and sellers. Put a tip in there, anything like that. I use ChatGPT to kind of help me with any of the tip for buyer and sellers for XYZ area. That's going to help keep it kind of local, but it's just an easy way to be able to touch your database. I mean, they say 13 times, but I offer 2 easy ways that you can easily send emails to be able to touch your contacts. I encourage you to do those at least. Key holidays, seasonal greetings, still, whether it be, personal note cards, which I'm horrible at least I did set up all my birthdays for my agents and emails where it's a custom just for them. Put those in there, and that's all in Bold Trail. So I just have like a list who did not have birthdays or anything like that for. Now they're automatically getting those. It's great because I get responses on that too. valuable content, any offers, anything like that, personal touch. I think that's great for like that home anniversary, or if you put in like your past closed and have their anniversary or whatnot, to be able to just send a quick text, email, whether you're doing it through a system or your own self, adding a task, because you can do that in almost any CRM platform, staying in touch. I loved the agent that helped us buy our home here. Never heard from her again. And I thought we were going to be besties, but we weren't. And so I wouldn't use her again, just even though I loved her. She was great. It kind of annoys me when agents don't like reach back. And I know a lot of agents up here, but simple things, stay in top of mind. I feel I say it nonstop, but your database is your gold mine. You can spend hours and hours and hours prospecting for people you don't know, but the people in your sphere that you can be communicating with, they already like you. They trust you. They know you. So they're going to be an amazing source for referrals and all of that fun stuff. It's your data mine. It's crazy, crazy. So here's some other ideas, automation. You have your market reports, listing alerts, CRM integration, automation for lead nurturing. If anybody is doing any sort of pay-per-click, you need to know what those automations are and the AI and all of that fun stuff. Because to me, it's like, I need leads. I'm going to pay for this. Well, what do you have in place for your follow-up? It's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. You have to have a follow-up system in place before you go spending that money. Otherwise, you're just wishing, hope, and a prayer. That's it. So make sure there are systems in place. Maybe you enhance some of the campaigns that you already have, edit those, make them a little more branded. But if you don't even have automations on and you don't have a follow-up system, you're just wasting money. So we need to work smarter, not harder. Don't just go and waste money praying that something sticks. Make sure that you have the full plan in place. And when it comes to any sort of pay-per-click, any sort of paid leads, make sure you have some of these automations turned on. Maybe you've gone in and edited at least the first couple. Maybe you do a 15-second quick intro video, because then when you edit that first email, put in the YouTube or Vimeo link, and now it's, hey, thanks for visiting my website. You might get some emails, but I'm here to help. My links are below. Feel free, search. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Something quick that puts that face name. So that way, when those future emails go out, they have that visualization, like they've communicated with you. I mean, the video can be super powerful, and all it takes is your phone hitting that red button, and make sure, I guess anything that goes on YouTube or Vimeo, I always think of like a TV, and then anything on social is the other way. Makes it super hard, but just do a 15-20 second little intro video. Maybe do another one when it comes to, I think depending on which campaign, when it comes to your lenders, when it asks if they've been pre-approved, add your lenders in that email. They're local. I had no clue when it comes to who do I use for a lender up here? No clue. Give them value. It's something local. It's ones that you trust. I would never put just one. Put several in there that you love working with, that are great. That is valuable information for a buyer, especially if they are not local. They don't have to use them, but you're offering value. So just some things that you could be adding in. And hopefully you'll write notes that you're going to be doing this inside of there. I always say like quarterly check-ins, client appreciation events. And again, you could go to AI and say, this is my business. What kind of client appreciation events? You could use your preferred partners, your lenders, title company, home inspector, insurance companies to help offset that cost. And they usually have swag and goodies that they can give away to these. I know one of the great ones that we used to be able to do, rent a movie theater. They had like this whole upstairs, everybody kind of brought in different toppings, and they had a popcorn bar, lots of different things, do a summer family friendly event. Lots of super easy to do, not much maintenance, not very expensive. You split the cost with all the other people that will be there to be able to answer questions. Super easy. I know a lot of people just got done doing their Pi Day event. Think of different things. I would say maybe one a quarter, and you can separate those lists, and maybe those with families, do the movie, maybe another one, do this. Lots of different things that you can be doing. But client, it's all about trying to get belly to belly and keep those relationships that you currently have, keep them strong, because that's word of mouth, that's future referrals, and that's what we want. And makes it a lot easier to get those than it is to go prospect for people who have never heard of you, don't know who you are, and just come in through leads. So that's my opinion. All right, marketing plan. Again, we have this. I think I have the link set up, I hope, to be able to get the marketing plan. This goes way more into details on the actual downloadable book, but we're just going to kind of go through. I would say marketing plan, for anybody. If you're a team leader, do one with your team, do one for the individual agents. We always did it on a broker level. We usually did that after R4 when we kind of went over everything that we had, but we always, because we would plan out all of our events for the entire year and get them all reserved, booked, and everything else. So make sure, whether traditional, but then think online, social, your consistency. What do you plan on doing? So making sure all of those are in a part of that entire marketing plan that you want to do. Marketing ideas. This was Jimmy Mackin. So don't put all your eggs in the one basket. Don't say, I'm going all in on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or my website. It's kind of sprinkle a little bit of everything, because all of those platforms we don't own. They can be taken away at any day. But also, what's your superpower? Meaning, what do you do that's different? Hone in on that. Showcase that. What can you do to drive conversations? I like the farming is sexy again, the direct mail, buyer letters, listing marketing. It's not just about selling a home. It's about selling your value. And then top of mind, top of inbox, that's where 13 monthly touches per month. Yeah. 13 touches per month. And it was interesting at the Jared James conference. Mr. Cooper was mentioned so many times. And I honestly had never heard of Mr. Cooper until a week before that event, when I got an email that my mortgage is now moving to Mr. Cooper. And I was like, who is Mr. Cooper? And is this a spam? But they do constantly keep in touch. They want to make sure, yes, they may have bought the loan, but they want to keep you forever. So you have your whole portal, your entire portfolios in there. They email. I haven't got any text yet, and it's been a few months, or at least not that I know of. But then there's the 13 touches per month, not per year. You should be reaching out 13 different ways per month. I upped mine to 2 emails a month. That's what I do now. So the end of the month, that's when I send out like all my goodies, the calendar, content ideas, all of that. And then when I do my monthly classes, I send out kind of events. And that's usually that first of the month I send that out. So I went to 2. I can't go to 13, but I feel I'm touching inside of Facebook, the groups or whatnot. I don't know. 13 seems like cray, but I know that's what everyone was talking about, Mr. Cooper, and how that's why they're trying to keep everybody. And they kind of have that rule of thumb to do those 13 touches. But you got to think on a saying, just in case. I would too. And I would hate doing that. But then think of ones that I check out regularly. Bam. Bam. So I get those emails. I want to say like 3 times a week, I get emails from them, and I'm always watching the videos. It's valuable content. So I'm always looking for it. It doesn't go into spam. I have it go right into my inbox. It's one of those, I haven't created a rule. I'll check whenever I have time. So there are some businesses that I realized, wait, I get that amount of touches I think, bam, I get 2 to 3 emails a week, but I look at every single one. And it's usually, when I'm up at work and 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm watching those videos. To me, I find them valuable. There's great content. I think if we can find something that is good content, it's probably not so bad. I will share that link. It should have been where you registered, but and also on my website, the social marketing net at the bottom of the slide, the Ignite 2026. And there's been QR codes, but I'll make sure to share that at the end because I want to make sure you get all those good workbooks and worksheets and all that kind of stuff. So questions to ask: yearly goal, quarterly goal, monthly goal, weekly goal, and what daily task do you need to do to make that happen? And then when you measure performance improves. And that's true. I personally use Asana, and I do every single month. I am looking at all my numbers. I have like a whole spreadsheet of every single thing that I do and where do I want to be? What do I need to change? And throughout the year, it is a constant pivot because real estate is always changing. So I have to you have to change with it. Sometimes I'll make a pivot. I had lots of different things happen. I was going to be doing my Bold Trail again in January, but just so much unknown with my son in the Army and not knowing when he was going to graduate, and just lots of life happened. So making pivots, and that's what you constantly have to do. But if you know those where you want to be, we just pivot along, keep going, adjust those sales as needed. Self-discovery. I like to incorporate personal stuff like game plan. What do you want to enjoy outside of real estate? And this is a lot for like social. That's pretty much what I do. I am more business, I guess, in the groups because I'm always sharing different ideas, tips, answering questions. But my socials are pretty much 100% personal, like what I do every single day. I'm not in an office anymore. So it's not like I'm sharing all the office events and everything else. My social completely changed when I moved from Florida to Tennessee. Most people will be like, what? Like all you do is Jeep. Do you ever work? But I don't post a whole lot. So all that fun stuff. But I do think it's important to kind of commingle that because I believe when people know who you are, it allows them to kind of see what interests you guys have that are similar, and it allows those relationships to grow. So social plan. Let's see what's going on in your week that you can post about. I like to keep things positive, professional, all of that fun stuff. And I think it's important when you're in your social going to your insights. I'm all personal. I don't really keep track of that, but it is nice to know. I know my photos do way better than any videos or reels other than that one in the bear, but that was just kind of like a freaky thing. But definitely to be able to see what resonates with the people who are following you. And for me, it's photos. Photos way outperform any videos I have done, no matter what the platform. I mean, it's crazy. And every platform is so differently. So see what resonates with the people who follow you. What do they want more of? Let's see, branding, unified, cohesive, whether it be the messaging, the colors, the templates. Do you need to change anything, move anything around? I also like domains, checking all of those, super important, just to try to be somewhat consistent across the board. Oh, 2 of these. Oh, I know why, because I added a new slide. So now we have like a double I there. Let's see, Google yourself. That is one thing that I like to tell everybody to do, is to Google yourself. Incognito would be even better because then it's not trying to capture your search history, because that can kind of skew it, especially if you're always paying attention to competition or whatnot. Google yourself. Do you have that professional photo, bio, service areas, phone number, email, website? Go to every single one of your profiles and make sure everything is there, and your email signature. Oh, it blows my mind. how many agents don't check that? And when I go to their email signature and I'm trying, maybe they ask a question about their website. So I go to their signature, there's their website. It doesn't work. So it's not linking to the correct place, or they have the wrong one there, or it's not forwarded correctly, or something like that. When you set that up, make sure to check it that it is correct, or that it's working, that it's linked correctly. Go to every single profile and just click on them to make sure it's taking you where it needs to go, because so many have not done that or haven't checked. And we want to make sure to make everything as easy as possible for people to be able to find us. And then I'm going to hide myself real quick. Let me see. Let's get rid of me so I can read this. And then let's see, recommendations. So AI is a huge thing. So I did go over to Chat GPT just to ask recommendations, because I know, like in the Jared James, that's the big thing, is now it's not about just search engine optimization on your website, because so many people are using AI to be able to find an agent or find anything. And I know for the longest time, it was, making sure you're on Google, because you have the Alexa that's being able to do accommodations. We have Siri, we have all of this AI that we've had for a while. And a lot of it was pulling from like Google. So now this is just some of the AI recommendations for everything out there, all the different AI. So building, Google profile, that is still way, 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 way up there. So make sure you have that set up. I know it's kind of been a pain in the butt lately if somebody tries to change a name or change an address, and the verifications that goes along with that. Stay with it. Try to get with their support to get things fixed, or create a new one, because that seems to be a lot easier than trying to fix an old one. Unless there's a lot of reviews, then you have to stick with that, because it's super important. Try to remember, if you're doing a blog or you have something, any events, anything like that, keep it, even I try to remember twice a month, it's on my task to go and share the latest blogs or content onto my Google, just to keep it out there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brandy. And I'll put this link in here too. So here we go. So proof of expertise. So AI loves evidence, getting more reviews everywhere. Doesn't have to be just on your website. I know I had shared, I think it was forever ago, if you wanted to send like a generic letter that had the Zillow, the Google, the Facebook, anything like that. And then you can copy and paste manually onto your Bold Trail website or onto another website, or it may sync, feed, however you have that set up. But maybe offering a $5 Starbucks gift card, and it can be virtual, so they can, I'm not a Starbucks drinker, but my kids are. So every time I get a Starbucks card, my son loves it. He's like, woo, woo, yay, I can go to Starbucks, because he was a Starbucks coffee person. I am like as basic gets when it comes to coffee. And I go into Starbucks and I'm like, somebody order for me. I have no idea. But, maybe offer a little something so they can put reviews everywhere. Using your full name. That was something I had to do a long time ago in Google Academy. I know so many of you have heard this story, but when I went to Google Academy, I couldn't even get my name to show up on the first page, because Heather Holiday is a sword swallower. She is now an international superstar. So she has a lot of video, a lot of social. She was always on that front page. And it has Heather Holiday, the exact way I spell my name. And all of her socials say @HeatherSwallows. So trying to get myself to be on that first page where I have a photo or one of my videos and not her, and not Heather Swallows, was incredibly difficult. And one of the top things that the Google Academy, when I was in class and everybody loved it, it was pretty funny, was that's why you see Heather H. Holiday, because my nickname growing up is H3, because I'm HHH and I had to marry an H. So I'm still HHH. But that is using my full name, rewriting my bios in third person, so that my name could be written several different times. So lots of different ways that you can kind of do that. And then keep your social media public. I know if I get a follower on Instagram and I go to follow them and it says that it's private, my request has been sent, I undo it. Not even going to bother. Don't have unless it's something, create one that's public. To me, I'm just public everywhere, but it is what it is. Be clear about the areas you serve. Make sure that is in that profile in some way. And I know for me, like on a brokerage level, I'm not really big into the whole top agents or whatnot, but I do understand the value of being findable when it comes to AI, when it comes to SEO. So instead of just putting a graphic, I am putting our top, agents or any accolades, what we do each month. I am putting that in on our company website. It doesn't trickle down on the agent sites because I need the name. So instead of just using graphics, I am putting it all out there. That is something that I've just kind of changed up a little bit because of the importance of my agents, the brokerage to be able to be found through AI. It's just not, most of you have seen on any of the classes, I have a separate page for blog categories. That is not a category. So it's kind of like a one and done. And I usually will do a couple other posts because on the Bold Trail, it shows the last 4 articles. So I'll usually schedule other articles. So it kind of gets buried, but it's still in there for SEO because I'm not even posting it to social. I just want it on our website. So that's kind of what I'm trying to incorporate into my brokerages. But just, got to stay in with the times and just taking different recommendations on what I can be doing to improve, yes, SEO, but AI to be found and all of that good stuff. All right, now we're into creating that roadmap to success. We need to think of, I always say, like your pillars to your business. What are 10 things that you do consistently? I always say like 7 to 10 things that you need to be doing consistently for prospecting, for just your business in general. And I love that Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I think I've said that so many times, my kids now say it to me. It's kind of funny. Oh, they're hilarious. So, whether you're doing internet, the pay-per-clicks, maybe you're doing community events, you have alliances, those partners and all of that. Do you do regular advertising? We call it like the fish wrapper, newspapers. Think of your demographics, who you're targeting. I know for 55 plus, go all in with that newspaper. They're old school. They love that fish wrapper or the newspaper, where you get the black all over your hands. Door knocking, FSBO, expireds, social. I mean, to me, it's like social's not an end all be all. A lot of agents think when they meet with me, I'm going to tell them they have to do social. I can say of many, many, many top agents wouldn't touch social because it's a time sucker, and it can be. But it can also open up doors you never thought imaginable. So I do love it for that reason, like these classes. Let's see, geo farming, postcards, direct mail, postcards, note cards, clubs, committees, distressed owners, new construction, relocation, absentee owners, radio, ads, seminars, webinars. I know, gosh, we used to do like the first time home buyers a lot, podcasts, live videos, video messaging, social videos. So just some different things. And there's so many different ideas. I just kind of threw some in there. That 10 things you're willing to do consistently. Set up that morning routine. And I'm going to show you this 5542. It's Tom Ferry. It is something, especially if I'm meeting with a new agent, somebody who just needs to kind of get revamped, come up with that routine. I'm going to use that. I'm pretty sure it would be in here, but it also, it's just something where you have to write down exactly what you're doing. 30 days, write everything down. Just like I mentioned, everything you do. This is only for like more of the business, but you need to set up that routine of what is your day. Time management is huge when it comes to running a business. And that's why, like for me, I get up at 3 a.m. My emails aren't being cluttered. I don't have my phone. I don't have my email open. I usually don't have social open. It is just time for me to get things done. And that's, for me, it's, I always say, it's kind of like your power hour. Just get up an hour early and do this. Oh, this is the 2 weeks. So I did add this in. That must have been after I got back from Jared James, because it was kind of fascinating to see what the agents that did it, what they saw and where they could be filling in, like where they had wasted time. I know for me, went back when my kids were in school and I had to go pick them up, I was on Hootsuite retweeting, and that was my Twitter time. Hardly on there anymore, but that was back in the day. That's what I used that time for. So I'm like, I'm just sitting here. What else am I going to do? I could read a book, but I was still working. I was just getting other things done on that because I loved Twitter back in the day. Let's see here. So write that down for 2 weeks. I'm curious on how that works for everyone. And then going through the process, what do you want to do more of? What are you going to do less of? What do you want to start doing? What are you going to stop doing? Because you either run the day or the day runs you. And then have conversations. Super important. We need to get belly to belly, have those real estate conversations. It's so different than the online. I mean, the amount of online leads versus actual sales is ridiculous. Running an online lead team, pay-per-click, spending thousands of dollars. It used to be pretty close as far as the online leads, and our conversion was like 30%. I just watched that go down and down and down, and the cost of leads go up and up and up as larger companies got out of the commercials on TV because everybody's streaming now. And then they went all in online, really kind of taking it away from the little guys to be able to compete with that. So our leads went from $4 to $6 for years to over $30 for every lead. And it just is like, no, we need to focus on our sphere, our database, having those conversations, getting belly to belly. That's where your gold mine is, because it's not just finding one sale, it's finding those lifetime of sales and those word of mouth and everything like that. So just some food for thought. This is that power hour, but it is in a full sheet PDF in those downloads. I think this is super important to be able to, especially anybody that's newer, anybody who's never had anything that they've done with their business consistently, do this for, every single day, 5 days a week, I should say. I'm all about balance, so you need that playtime. But I write that down. I strongly believe if you do this, even if it's for 2 weeks, you're going to see a huge difference by holding yourself accountable, by doing 5 text or calls with past clients or your center of influence, 5 new conversations with 5 new contacts, 4 lead follow-up conversations, and then doing social, being more authentic, not just generic, plain Jane, whatever the case may be, sharing maybe local events from local businesses, anything like that. So do this every day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks. And I almost guarantee you're going to see a huge improvement by holding yourself accountable. So I encourage you to do those. It's one of my favorite things that I do. And then, of course, for me, this is I call it like my little work Bible, so to speak. And right now I don't have, it's all in pen because I'm still trying to figure it out. Adding personal and business things that you want to do. So let's see, brand audit, R4 swag. So this is just kind of things I guess I put in there for generic things. Anybody who does social knows that this was a crazy year for social media with, I usually do all of my kind of social graphics in December because I'm super slow because everyone's kind of like on holiday mode. So December is when I do all my graphics for upcoming year. And then Instagram decided to change their grid size in January. So I had to redo everything to the new size and finally got that done just in time for R4 for the new brand refresh. So now I'm having to redo all those graphics, staying in that new size, new logos, new colors, new everything. So it has been a crazy year on top of everything else, just for those purposes, keeping me extremely busy. So trying to redo all of the graphics, all the reels, all the everything, and the new graphics. It's been fun. Gold is in our database. Yes. I mean, it is. And it's kind of interesting because so many agents have never been in like a buyer's market to see, oh, I actually have to prospect. Oh, I need to work my, it's kind of been given easy. It's been like that for so long, longer than I've ever remembered, because it used to change like every 8 years or something like that. We were right about that tipping point, and then COVID came and everything went nuts. Now we seem to be at that balance level. Listings are staying on the market longer, and you don't have to have a month-long listing agreement. I mean, I remember back when we would take a year listing agreement and still pray it would sell. So it's just interesting to see it change. But any agent who's stuck through this year, especially if you're newer, stick with it. Find your database, your gold mine, stick with that. And there's so many different coaches that are, helping figure out, listing promotions, doing this, thinking outside the box, all of that good stuff. But for me, this was a game changer. It's something I do that's always next to my vision board. But, so many people are like, oh, I want to do this. And then they get started, and then that's it. They're like, I don't know. I can't. I give up, because you try to do too many things at once, and then nothing happens because you become overwhelmed. So for me, this little sheet allows you put in 3 things that you want to do. And I'm not saying just a normal business. It's a little outside. So, and adding personal. So again, I'm really wanting to get my guest bathroom done, only because I think the tub is, I don't know, it's like leaking or something. But for me, it's like finishing Jared James's AI course, because I didn't make all the sessions. I need to go back in the academy and rewatch them. The guest bath, and to complete all of that rebrand graphics for the year. And then February is doing those reels. I have been wanting since the broker owner conference. I am working on an onboarding campaign that I can put inside a Bold Trail, and then I can share tokens with brokerages for them to be able to add it and add all their new agents. And I did finally, it's easier said than done, because then I looked at all the videos I have inside of my onboarding, and I'm like, oh, I have to redo all of these videos. So I did all that last year. Or last week, I redid all of my onboarding videos. I need to still do some more, but there's so many. This year has been a year of changes at lightning speed, trying to keep up with everything. It's a good thing. It's why I love what I do, but it certainly gives me more work and time. There's still only so many hours in the day. So I am working on that. I did, because I need to finish all of those graphics for the year. I have a goal to have that done by, January at the latest. I have my daughter helping me, but then February, I really want to put that in a drip so that I can share that and just kind of have little weekly onboarding videos, welcome to Remax, all those fun things. And then I want to do more of like an Aspire campaign, or maybe agents that need to get a little push. So I'm working on adding in lots of campaigns. I love Bold Trail, because once I get that done, I can just share that token and anybody can use it. So those are little things that I am working on, trying to get that back done. So that's what I use this for. It doesn't have to be every little thing. It's what big things. So if you are doing community events or anything like that, 2 months ahead of time, 3 months ahead of time, getting all of that in. I know with like Susan Reno, she's on here. And my goodness gracious, we've been working on these Remax ornaments for years, because every year it's one of the top posts in the creative group of this. I don't even know, somebody created like this really cool Remax ornament, and they're like, where do I buy that? And it's like, it's not a real photo. Somebody created that. It's really cool. And then, of course, had everything ready to be able to go for this Christmas. And then February came, and now we have a new logo. But she just posted the video, and it's in the creative group with the link. Now we have ornaments that you can pick up at R4 and all that fun stuff. So it's been fun. But if you're doing, pie a day or any community events, of course, part of on this schedule should be a few months ahead, getting your database together, getting an order form, getting the invites out, whatever the case may be. But use this for 3 things you want to accomplish each month, kind of above and beyond what you do normally. And then you can cross it off. I call it the doing, done. I think if anything that you want to do, you break it down into only having to do 3 things each month, it makes it a little easier to digest and to actually accomplish doing something instead of getting all excited, seeing all those things that you could be adding to your business. You get tired, you burn yourself out, and you don't do anything the rest of the year. 3 things, that's it. And as you can see, there's a lot of different pages of ideas of how to be able to fill this out. Yeah, that labor of love. Is that what you call it? It's like, what? No, they're great. It's out there finally. Woo woo. Here's my little ornament, just in case. And the new one. I don't have the new one yet. Got to order that. Let's see. And then, of course, we do some things, fun stuff. And I put the link right in here. So there's like the little bit.ly, or if you go to my website, you will see Ignite. So that's the QR code. It should take you. Download the workbooks. It'll take you right over. And the replay, right now it's live, but so the video will also be here to be able to do that. And just know, feel free, go through my website. I do weekly blogs. I have tons of videos, and you can't see my screen because, hold on, let's try this again, because I'm sharing a presentation. So let's window to the window. I have to move this over, and we'll have a tunnel. Let's see. There we go. That work? Let me hide that. So here's the Ignite again. QR code. Download the workbooks. It's going to straight over to Google Drive where I have all of this. And then this will become the live video once this ends. Of course, my website, I have a ton of different blogs. I've got a ton of resources as far as Bold Trail if you want to learn it. I've got my little workbook that I love. Joining the group, just great, easy links for you to be able to find past resources, past classes. These are, I call them my play, pause, do, quick little, try to be under 5-minute videos. Heather, I don't want to listen to you for an hour. Just answer this question. Here are the full classes that we've done since the switch over from KV Core to Bold Trail. So we've done monthly classes in the group. I've done a couple blogs with like kind of generic video headers. So we've got, coastal holidays, regular holidays, Halloween, all that fun stuff. And then of course, blogs, tons and tons and tons of resources on my website for you to be able to take advantage of. Hopefully it helps and all of that good stuff. And then that's it. Woo! I hope everyone has an amazing holiday season. I can't wait to 2026. Make sure, check out the groups. As soon as I get off, I'm going to go make sure those surveys are pinned so that if you are interested, let us know what you want to learn. Right now, I think the top 3 are still Max Tech, surprisingly. Tons of videos. Go check out. I've got tons, like every aspect of it on there. Max Tech, AI, and Canva are still the top 3. And I did do my Canva camp over the summer. It went from beginner to, oh my gosh, I think I lost everybody by like week 3, but tons of goodies and stuff in there. So I may have to redo those because I think I went way above. But I wanted to make sure if someone was paying for that class that they got more than they wished for. And I could tell by the people who actually joined live by week 3, it was like, whoop, okay, Heather, you lost me. So I love Canva. I'm always welcome to do that, but let me know, and let me know if you want to be co-host, share with people what you do, what you love. Always looking for people to be able to help. I think that's what we're trying to go back to. We did that for several years. So Anna Clinton's like the marketing master guru, like his stuff. I mean, his business cards. I need to share some of those videos in there, but anything that you guys can help with, we would love to have other people, co-host with us, share what they do and all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys next year, if not before. Thank you guys. Bye, everybody.